Hello, I am Dr. Mawson. Math textbooks have to be written appropriately for a desirable mathematics education to be possible. Then what do you think is the most important when it comes to compiling a textbook? It is the humanism about people. Everyone is born with at least one talent. We should accept this. Humanism, the love for humans. I want to say that we have to accept the fact that everyone has their own distinct talent in order to survive. How can education be pursued to match each individual's talent? How can the seed of creativity, which everyone is born with, be sprouted appropriately? These are possible with the desirable math education. Are you saying I should stop asking questions and get to the point? Okay. Then shall we start? I will tell you a story about the most important math textbook necessary for the implementation of desirable math education. Learning about nature, humans, and society must be included in the textbook. They are the two most important factors in the compilation of the math textbook. In order to become the global standard of math education, math is the study that aims to discover the secret of nature. Desirable math study is the series of training processes to find out the secret of nature, and the most important factors to be dealt with when compiling a math textbook are the comprehension in learning about nature, humans, and society. Anyhow, I will tell you a story based on the math textbook as the main subject here. Education is not a matter of teaching, but rather a way of guiding children to discover their innate talents, the seed of creativity, and to help it sprout into a wholesome fruit. When children are born, each of them are born with a unique talent for survival. They inherit their talents directly from their parents' genes. To express the unique talents that children are born with, in other words, you can say, the seed of creativity. The seed of creativity is what you are born with, not a subject that can be developed later on. It is highly necessary for desirable math education for anyone to sprout his or her own seed of creativity, strengthen the roots to blossom attractive flowers, and finally bear the wholesome fruit. What is creativity, in your opinion? I will give you the answer right away. Creativity is the ability to see the invisible, hear the inaudible, and experience places you've never been to. To put creativity in other words, you can say that it is the ability to foresee the future and survive. It is not difficult to pursue desirable mathematics. You have to allow children to see, hear, and go to places as much as they can, and it is good for them to experience nature. It is so important to let children learn about nature to proceed with desirable math education. One more thing. You have to let the children read extensively so that they can become knowledgeable about the people and society that live in the world that differentiates time and space. The two most important factors to deal with when it comes to compiling a math textbook for desirable math education are learning about nature and understanding of humans and society. The math textbook contains these two factors, and the children will be able to bear the fruit from the seed of creativity that the children are born with if math education becomes a reality based on this direction. The goal that a nation is trying to get on a national level through desirable math education is creating high-tech industrial engineers that can conserve the future. On a personal level, it can be said that desirable math education works as a compass for future employment choices, because it allows children to pre-select suitable jobs based on their innate talents. Well, then, what kind of thoughts should you have when you create the chapters for the implementation of desirable math education? Math is the study that discovers the secrets within nature which goes through the repeated cycle of creation and destruction. A subject needs to be able to be drawn as a picture for it to be considered as a subject in math, just like how landscapes, still life, etc. need to be examined carefully before drawing them as pictures. You also have to closely observe a subject if you want to find out its secret in mathematics. You can find the genuine design of the subject through observation. After you are able to draw a picture from the design you discovered by observing, you have to be able to connect numbers or letters to the picture. It helps you to find the unnoticeable patterns if you connect the numbers and letters to the picture. You will recognize the regularities of nature if you have found the pattern, and you will also be able to predict how the subject will change in the future. Thus, you will be able to make a prediction program. Consequently, the curriculum for the implementation of desirable math education should include fields of picture, numbers and letters, regularity, and prediction. As you can see below, you can subdivide the 4 fields into a total of 12 chapters. Dimensions that deal with shapes and patterns, weights and measures, time and space are chapters to be studied in the field of picture. The field of numbers and characters needs chapters such as numbers, calculations, and equations, and the field of order should include chapters such as fractals, which are nature's structures, and the world of chaos, which are invisible laws and forces. Lastly, it is the field of prediction, which should include the number of outcomes which forms a basis for probability, the suggestion and analysis of data which sets grounds for statistics, and corresponding relationships that set the basics of functions. There is another material that you must study in each chapter to implement a desirable math education. It is important for the middle and high school math curriculum. It is beneficial if you deal with the following materials in each chapter of the math textbook. Firstly, when you learn about a chapter, you need to know the objective of learning the chapter. Children can achieve creativity in mathematical approach when they know why they are learning, because they can gain curiosity. It is also important to know who made the math theory that appears in the chapters of the math textbook and how they made it. It is even better if the logical evidence of the math theories is provided. Learning about the unique mathematical expressions of mathematicians and the visual expressions together would also be valuable. If you become used to the mathematical and visual expressions, you can understand the principle of math theories and broaden the range of applications. It is rare for a mathematical theory to be created from an individual mathematician's original thoughts. Inevitably, there is always a mathematician that raises objections whenever a person proposes a new theory. As a result, it is necessary to examine academic disputes that occurred between mathematicians. Finally, you need to know how the math theories that appear in the chapters of math textbook contribute to the original technology of the high-tech industry. This is because we already know that the creation of machines and technology equipment that makes the dream of life extension possible in mathematics. Shall we recap? Math textbooks have to be made according to the following 3 questions, and students should be able to continuously question oneself and understand regarding these questions. 1. What is the purpose of learning this chapter? 2. Who made the mathematical theory that appears in this chapter, and what is its logical evidence? 3. In which high technology can you apply this mathematical theory to? The world's mathematics education today is flowing in the direction of consumer-centered education. If there is a subject that the students, education consumers, are willing to learn, you should be able to provide the education service in concern. Consumer-centered education has to be made possible in order for the seed of innate talent of the education consumer to sprout well. Consumer education became possible due to the emergence of the IT era that has platforms ruling the contents. A mathematics textbook that allows for consumer-focused education service should be compiled first in order to reach the goal of idealistic consumer-centered math education. No matter how hard the children try to study with the existing supplier-focused math textbook, they will not be able to sprout their seeds of their innate talents. Everyone! Math is the study of discovering the secret of nature, and desirable math education is a series of training processes to find out its secret. The math textbook has to help people learn about nature and people and society in order to create the desirable world of mathematics. You will be able to see the series of training processes clearly to find out the secret of nature if you look through the chapters of the math textbook that our research institution has compiled together. Let's meet again next time with another math story. Take care.